All right. Hello. Welcome for the last time. Now, that sounds like really sad.
God.
No, this is not the last time. This is the last time I'm going to introduce this podcast, though, as Switch, Fight, Win, a podcast where we discuss, we debate all things Nintendo.
Clap.
Clap, 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 emojis.
I had to clap because you usually clap and you didn't
Oh,
clap.
that's true. But we have a big update of what this podcast is going to be switching to.
Switching to?
Yeah, isn't that?
But we're switching away from the Switch.
Right, but not completely. I don't know if I would. We're definitely going to be the same kind of podcast that we've been in the
Yes.
past. We've done a couple of these little different rebranding things, and as we've rebranded, we became tighter and tighter to what we want to be, and I
Yeah.
think we've finally kind of came to that conclusion.
Yeah, we've kind of narrowed it down to what we've been most passionate about in these podcasts. We've been doing the news, talking about the new releases on the Switch and the sales and all of that. But really what we've come to love is the debate side of things. And we feel like that's kind of unique, at least as far as I know. There's not really anything that's specifically like video game debates
Yep.
and talking about more of the important topics rather than just, hey, here are the new games, here is what's coming out, and here's like the rumors of this game coming to the Switch. So we're going to be opening it up to all video game topics, not just the Switch. So PC, PS4, Xbox, the new Google Stadia, whatever the else heck comes out in the next couple years. We are going to be focusing on just video game debates in general. What are those big topics that we need to talk about? Whether that's a specific game or maybe just like a philosophy of gaming, or like what's the psychology effects of gaming too long, or whatever it is. Like, what are these important topics that often people aren't talking about because we're just so focused on what's the new big game,
Right.
and we miss out on some of the bigger discussions of like the importance of gaming, or what's the effect on our daily lives. So
Yeah.
those different things, we're still going to be talking about some of the news pieces that come out because that really does affect those debates and discussions.
Right.
But also just in general some other bigger discussions that we haven't been able to have because we've been just focused on Nintendo. So
Yep.
do you want to give us the new name of the podcast?
That's right, everybody. Gaming on Trial.
Ooh,
So hot. It's such a hot name.
so hot, so
Oh my
creative.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Go on my Twitter at Zach with a K _ WTP. You'll see a beautiful graphic that I made in approximately 2 minutes.
Yes, if it gets 100 likes, it'll become our official podcast art. Which I know it won't get
Oh my
100
gosh.
likes. It's impossible.
Oh my gosh. You hear this challenge? Retweet.
What's the most likes you've ever gotten on a single tweet?
Well, it depends if we count like replies, because I've gotten like on replies of tweets
Okay.
that blow up, I've gotten like 1,000 plus likes.
On your own tweet, not a reply.
Oh, I
Have you
don't
gotten
know.
to 10? Even
Oh
double
yeah,
digits?
I've gotten double digits. Easy. I remember making a tweet about like saying the only reason I want to go to college is that I want people to follow me on Twitter. And that got like 10 likes. And I was like, where were all you people when I needed you? Like, I don't need to go to college anymore.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the future
Yes.
of this podcast. More broad topic, and it allows us to kind of be going into different consoles and stuff. And speaking of that, I want to be able to start streaming different
Yeah.
consoles.
That's part of our update is
Yeah.
we're going to have a consistent streaming schedule. It's going to be Monday through Friday,
Yeah,
every
every day.
single weekday, man.
Every
That's
day.
pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, heck
So, I guess Friday is the only different day. That's when we're just going to be shooting this podcast like we are now. So it's going to be more about, shooting this Gaming on Trial podcast, maybe talking to you guys throughout it as we go, adding you guys into the discussion and in the debate real time so you can join in on that. But Monday through Thursday, why don't you tell us kind of what are we going to be doing in that?
Yeah, so Monday and Wednesday, am going to be streaming one game that I will be going through, some kind of single player game. I think I'm going to start with the first two Mario Galaxy games, just being playing through those in single player mode. And then the other day, some kind of multiplayer game that you guys will be able to join into that game. And I think it's, now that we're kind of more broad, I might do some PC stuff. I might do some, I think I'll definitely lean more towards Switch stuff for the most part. But it'll allow us to branch out for kind of stuff that you guys want to be doing as well. And me and Luke are going to be streaming hopefully the same multiplayer game that week, but we'll be doing different.
Yeah, we haven't picked out days which one's gonna be which, but you know, we'll announce it on our Twitters or in the next podcast. It might be like Wednesday, Thursday are our multiplayer days, and especially on those days, we would love you guys to join us. Even if you don't watch the stream, I don't care. Just come play Mario Kart with us or Smash Bros.
Yeah.
I mean, you can watch the stream as well if you want, but really, it'd just be fun to hang out and play games together. So
yeah, totally.
And for me, as obviously you could probably use inductive reasoning, I'm streaming Tuesday, Thursday. Those days you are not.
Right, correct.
Lately, I've been hooked on things like SteamWorld Quest, Dead Cells, jumping into Darkest Dungeon now. So that will probably be my single player games, and then joining you on those multiplayer games, whatever we decide for that week, what it's going to be. So that's kind of the update. That's the direction we're going to be going. So make sure you follow us on YouTube. We might stream on Twitch as well using streaming to both, but we haven't decided yet. So for now, make sure you at least subscribe to the YouTube if you want to hang out in our streams. But let's move on. I think we talked plenty about our update. What have you done with gaming this week specifically?
I've been playing a little bit of Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Ooh, oh, man. Me too, man. We both tried it because it's been 2 weeks since our last podcast.
God. You know, this is definitely a game, and I thought of this as well with Octopath Traveler. These are games that are not meant to be played with GameFly.
That's true.
These are games that are meant to be purchased for $60 and sat down and just going through the entire game. And these are games that in the past I have only purchased on a Black Friday deal. They're games that I've never actually spent that $60, especially at the beginning. I think the only RPG I can remember doing that for was Final Fantasy 15, and I did not spend near as much time as I wanted to.
Right.
This is just, it is not my genre. I really want it to be. Every time that I pick it up, I'm like, oh man, I would just love to dive into this game, just invest so many hours into it, getting invested in these characters, but I just never can. And I try so hard to like these games.
So what is it about it that you don't like? Is it the combat? Is it the storylines? Is it just the massive amount of hours you have to put into these games to get through it? Or
the biggest thing is definitely the hours.
Okay.
And it feels like, oh my goodness, if I were to sit down and spend the 50, I think this one's, what is this? Oh.
I want to say maybe 80 or 100.
That's what I was thinking.
I can't remember.
100 to
100%. It's definitely up there.
It's just, it feels like it's a never-ending path of, like, if I were to sit down and play this game the entire way through, is it even worth it? Because I could be playing all of these other games and probably beat 20 other games in the time that it would take me.
I don't know about 20, but maybe 10 even.
Like 20 of the, like, you know, eShop $10, $15 games, you know? And I feel like I can have more experience with that. I find myself kind of even being the same way with movies. Like, I have a very hard time sitting down and watching a movie that exceeds 2.5 hours. But if I were to watch a 90-minute movie, I feel much more accomplished. There's so much tutorial, especially at the beginning of this game. Yeah. And I've had such a hard time with it. I'm going to spend another week on it. Yeah. Because I really want to see what it's like. But
yeah, I think that's an interesting debate in the future is the effect of there being so many games out there now and so many sales. I feel this pressure often of like, I need to play through all these big games that are coming out. Everyone's talking about them, especially doing a podcast or a YouTube channel. It's like, there's so many games, and I feel like less and less, and maybe it's part of just being more of an adult now. But less and less do I invest one game. I'm like, I'm going to buy this game, as you said, and spend the whole 80 hours getting through it, because there is something beautiful about spending 80 hours in a game and really diving deep into it. And, that's a good value bang for your buck. I mean, 80 hours into a $60 game is less than $1 per hour of entertainment.
That's
so
true.
if you think about it like that, it's like the people who love it it's amazing. And I hear what you're saying about the GameFly experience, but I actually look at it as kind of a plus for these long games, because I can really just try it out for a couple hours, and I feel like that's enough to decide if I want to keep playing or not.
Sure.
Whereas if I buy a $60 game that's 80 hours long and I don't like it after 5 hours, I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do now? I mean, I guess I can resell it and recoup like 40 of it back. But I don't know. I played a little bit of it, and I'm slightly further than you. I still want to jump into it more once you're done with it, because I only had it for about 2 days before leaving on vacation. The one thing I can't jump on board quite so much yet is the combat. Part of it, I just feel like I'm not used to a game like this. I mean, since maybe the closest thing I can compare it to is like playing an MMO where you just focus on, they do the auto attacks for you, and then you cast your spells every so often. But I realized, I haven't played an MMO since like RuneScape, like 12 years ago. It's been that long, and I don't think I've had a single player MMO experience of this kind of combat with Xenoblade, because I mean, really, you just sit there, you focus on which character you want to target. You can run around to the backside, I guess, to get some extra combos off, but besides that, you're not doing a lot of movement. And I much prefer things like Dead Cells, where I've been playing a lot, where everything's very action intensive. It's all about dodging and hitting things in the right timing, or the other extreme of it's completely turn-based combat, like SteamWorld Quest, where you pick a card and that's your attack. But for whatever reason, this awkward in between where like your auto attacks are done for you, and then you just cast spells feels weird to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I haven't played anything like that for a while. So I don't know. I liked the story twist. I won't ruin it for you, that I've now gotten to. So I'm interested in a little bit in the characters and the story development, but the combat I still feel iffy about. I don't know. So I definitely don't know if it's a game I want to buy and invest that much time into, but I want to try it a little bit more. Other than that, as I just said, I got into Dead Cells. Been loving that. I love roguelites, though. I know some people don't, but that's my jam, man. There's something about it in me that I'm like, I know it's the same game over and over and over again, but man, I feel like I just gotta progress further and further for absolutely no reason. There's no story. There's no progression in it. It's just like you're buying upgrades to buy more upgrades to buy more upgrades, but it's so addicting, and I don't know, I love it. And then I played a little bit of Darkest Dungeon, which is a turn-based combat game. It's kind of creepy. Like, I've seen not tutorials. I've seen
Let's Plays. What?
Trailers. I was like, it's some T word, man. I've seen trailers for it. I'm like, oh, this kind of looks, like it won't be that spooky. It's kind of cartoony. But like when I was playing, I'm like, man, I feel like anxiety in this because part of it is it's so freaking hard and it's permadeath.
Oh shoot.
But you get new characters constantly, so it's not game over.
Right.
It's just like the character that you invested in is now gone. You can never get him back.
Yeah.
And it's actually really hard because it's not just juggling health. It's as you go through a dungeon, you have stress levels in each character. And so like each time your character's attacked, it adds stress. Each time like you run into a trap, it adds stress. And then once you get to a certain stress level, your character freaks out. And they do weird things. Like they might attack your own character. They might they freak out and they like start yelling at your other characters. They're like, wait, that guy missed you? You dodged that? You're obviously on their side. And so like they bring up everyone else's stress levels and it just like keeps compounding and I get more stressful and like more often my characters die because of stress. Because once you get to a certain stress level, it's like your character has a heart attack.
Oh my god.
And it's just like, man, this is so freaking hard because it's not just about health. Like, because, in most games I can play such a defensive, like, oh, I'll just have one character that heals and health doesn't really matter that much. But it's like, well, if you take too long, then your stress levels build up. And it's It's
That's
so
so
freaky,
funny.
man. Like, after playing it for an hour, I'm like, man, I got anxiety to switch to a different game. But
So
I
fun.
enjoyed it. I think I'll enjoy it.
Cool.
I'm interested to get into it more. I've only played probably 2 hours or so. So
Cool.
that's been my gaming of the week.
Nice.
Besides the little Captain Toad's treasure tracker
Heck yeah.
on the plane with my
Heck
wife.
yeah.
Dude, it's so fun pulling out the Switch. And, like, even just on airplane, putting it on a tabletop and, like, pulling out the Joy-Cons and being able to play with Julia right there.
That's
It's
so
like,
cool.
that's amazing.
Yes.
Like, you can never do anything like that, even, like, 2-3 years ago. I mean, you could play your Game Boy by yourself, but
Yep.
to have a shared experience of gaming on a plane, like, that's pretty crazy.
Probably my favorite Switch experience of all time was going to the Smash Bros. Release party. And this was the first Smash Bros. That was... I mean, the 3DS one was portable, obviously. But there's something about this Switch one. I mean, it just feels like... It felt like the normal Smash Bros. Game. And when I went to this GameStop release party, and they did a full tournament, and just everyone hanging out around, like, even after, like, people were out of the tournament, like, just hanging out and helping people, like, earn new characters.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Yeah, because you're not limited to one TV. It's
Yes.
like everyone can come with their
man.
Switch.
Yep.
And I'm even thinking back to when we ran all those gaming tournaments. Now that we all have Switches,
I know.
like, I feel like people would have been a lot more engaged because you would also just pull out your Switch, and as you're watching the tournament or waiting for the next thing to happen, like, you just be on your Switch playing whatever you want. Like, it just makes parties and things like that so much better. I feel
Watching the Pokemon Direct, which we'll get into in a minute, and I just watched the Mario Maker Direct for the first time, really just like made those game tournament feelings come back.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, I want to do this again so bad. Just Mario Maker, man. Mario Maker, though, is a good tie-in. Mario Maker
Yeah.
actually sucks.
So we want to jump into the news. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
let's do it. We're jumping in the news. We don't have a debate this week because we want to take some time to prep for the new podcast, Gaming on Trial, next week.
Heck yeah.
Oh, by the way, we never mentioned, we're just going to change the name on this current podcast, so don't feel like you have to subscribe to a new podcast.
Right.
It's just going to show up in your feed. So don't worry about it if that's what you're worried about. But we're going to jump into news today. As you said, Mario Maker sucks. Why does it suck so bad?
Oh my gosh. Nintendo, please. Multiplayer, online. Wow, really cool. Like, finally, Nintendo doing something right? Mario Maker's online. So excited. Playing with my friends, right? No.
Wrong.
Incorrect. We are only allowing you to play with strangers.
It's just... I don't get it, man. Like, the Switch has become my favorite console of all time. And I love Nintendo for that. But the decisions they make zero sense with zero explanation. Like, I can understand if they make decisions that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But then their logic makes zero sense. They literally said, we're not going to put Mario Maker 2 online with friends because we don't want you to cheat the leaderboard systems and help each other get through things faster. Oh, okay. Remove the leaderboard feature when you team up with people.
Oh my gosh. Exactly.
Or make a different leaderboard. Like, there's so many solutions. Stop lying to us, Nintendo. Stop freaking hiding the truth. What is the real reason? That's not the real reason.
Yeah, what do you think they're like? What are they worried of?
I mean, I understand the point. Okay, if there's leaderboards, which we know there are, you know, let's say there's a map leaderboard for this one map that you make, you know, one person running it down. I guess, you know, if you have 2 or 3 people and you're trying to work as a team to get through, I don't know how that would make it faster for you, but maybe there's some circumstances on harder maps that having more people would help that.
Right.
I get that, but just remove the leaderboard feature when you pair up with people. Like, why can't I play with my friends in a non-leaderboard fashion?
Exactly.
Like, I just want to compete against my friend that I'm playing with in real time. I don't care about the leaderboard.
Yeah. And this is the kind of thing that I see EA doing, right? Where EA is like, oh, we're not allowing you to play with your friends in this. And the reason they usually do that is to charge you later on for something else. But the thing with Nintendo is, I don't think that Nintendo is really vicious about DLC ever.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a problem paying like the $20 for the Fighter Pass of Smash Bros,
Mm-hmm.
$15 for Mario Kart DLC on the Wii U. It's not like they're taking advantage of us
Sure.
with DLC and loot boxes like a lot of other games are.
Mm-hmm.
They're just instead giving us less features and being like, sorry, they're not here. And it doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's so many easy ways around this of like just having the custom game, like you're saying, not on the leaderboards.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. The only thing I could think of a reason not to do that is we've talked a little bit about gaming in person and the connection of what gaming in person can do for someone.
Sure.
Right? And maybe that's their point of like we want you to come together in community and but
see that's what I agree with you. I love Nintendo for the in-person gaming.
Right.
I've said that many times, but they take that as a cost where they don't allow for that to happen with people online. They make really terrible online services, features, really random decisions like this with Mario Maker.
Yep.
And it's like, yes, let us play with people in person, but don't dictate that for people.
Right.
There's some people that they don't have anyone around them for miles. They don't have other options than to play online. Or, even for me, like, yes, I want to play with people in person as much as I can. But there's sometimes on a Thursday night when especially like I'm going to be streaming and I want to just play with people in our Twitter chat now. Like, and now we can't. Like, like, why? There's no good reason. I mean, I'm still going to buy it.
Oh,
and that's the frustrating thing. It's I'm still going to buy it. But it's just like you're ruining such a fun part of the game. And I don't understand.
Well, let's lighten things up.
Okay.
There's definitely something a lot more exciting coming to our tablets, phones, mobile devices. That's right, everybody. Pokemon Sleep.
Okay, is that more exciting?
Oh, then wait. I mean, it's I would say it's better.
Okay,
than,
I guess Mario Maker with that news was like a -10.
Yeah.
And Pokemon Sleep to me is like a -3.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I think it gets like a solid 2.
Oh my gosh.
+2.
Okay, so I know I originally tweeted out and
you were
and
upset.
you're saying you wanted to talk about this. So I'm interested to hear your take.
Yeah.
But my take was maybe this is a whole future debate on gaming on trial because I think this would be interesting to talk about. But why the heck do we need to make everything about entertainment? It just seems like it's getting so out of hand, so ridiculous, and it's becoming unhealthy. I get it. Yes, Pokemon Go, it got people outside and walk around, which for some people, that's a big deal.
Right.
So, okay, good for you. I mean, there's harm in it too because, are they actually enjoying the outdoors? I don't know.
Whatever.
Who knows? That's a different debate. But sleeping, like, you're literally, your brain is off. You're asleep. You're not like. Why do you need that to be entertaining? Like, just go to bed.
We should clarify real quick, kind of what Pokemon Sleep
Okay, all right.
is.
Sorry, I got heated real quick.
So Pokemon Sleep, I guess, is going to have some kind of it's like a wristband or something that you have to sleep with.
I don't know.
And it's going to track your sleeping patterns, and your sleeping patterns are somehow going to affect the Pokemon you're able to catch in Pokemon Go.
Yeah, they didn't really explain much in it. It was just in the Pokemon's Direct.
Yeah.
It was just like a little pop-up advertisement for it. I don't think it's coming out even maybe till the end of the year 2020, it seems like. And yeah, they didn't really explain like, is this catching Pokemon for you while you're asleep?
Right.
Is it reward you for good sleep and you wake up and you have Pokemon that you have to go out and catch? It didn't really say anything. It just said Pokemon Sleep, encouraging you to get better sleep.
Heck yeah.
So
I don't know, man. That's kind of my counterpoint to it, I guess, is this is encouraging you to get better sleep. And there is some people who, in the same way with Pokemon Go, they wouldn't go outside until they had something that was entertaining enough of a reason for them to go outside. I was one of those people, for sure. Pokemon Sleep is not going to necessarily encourage me, I don't think, to get better sleep. But it might for some people. And I think that's somewhat important. And if this is something that helps somebody for some reason get some kind of better sleep out of it, I don't have a problem with it.
Yes, I can see it encouraging people to get better sleep. More so, my point is, why do you need an entertainment factor to encourage you to do something as simple as sleep, which is a basic function of life?
Yeah, you know.
I mean, what's next? Pokemon vegetables?
Oh, I hope so.
You have to take a picture or a video of you eating a freaking piece of celery, and out comes Pikachu.
The Game Freak employees are like looking at your pictures like, is that celery? I'm not sure.
It's like, you know, the incubators, you have to walk so far. It's like, this egg takes 5 pieces of broccoli and it will hatch. I mean, that's literally what we're coming to, though, right?
Yes, please.
Pokemon shower.
But oh man, Pokemon sleep. It's dumb. It's dumb for sure. But you know what? Maybe I can see this appealing to a younger crowd as well, like a much younger crowd, 8, 9, 10. Just like in a way reminds me of Tooth Tunes, you know, the toothbrushes that play music while you brush your teeth. Whenever you stop brushing your teeth, the music stops.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like that. You know, you tell your kid like, "Hey, go to sleep, and you'll be able to catch a Snorlax in the morning." You know, but as a 19-year-old person, I do not have interest in Pokemon Sleep. I don't have interest in Pokemon Go anymore. But I think there is. I'm not angry at this existing. I know you are. I understand your points of being angry that it exists.
Yeah.
But I see this appealing to a very small amount of younger kids.
Yeah, I don't know. It without there being more information.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to tell what exactly the game is even gonna do or be. Or how big it's going to be. So I think once we get a little more information, that will be the time to do a full debate on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm upset now, but it could be something that I'm completely not expecting, and it can be completely different, and maybe it's just this really small thing that's not a big deal. Who knows? So I'd say let's put it on the table for now.
Yeah.
But it's at least interesting that it's out there.
Since we don't have a debate this week, though, I would say let's put that up as a Twitter poll. Okay. I'm kind of interested. Just what are your guys' immediate thoughts of Pokemon Sleep?
Okay.
Is it a positive or a negative thing, or are you completely neutral? I would say I'm neutral.
Okay.
But all right, we'll move into our next subject, which is genuinely, not sarcastically, a lot more exciting. Pokemon Direct. Going over
Sword and Shield.
Yeah, Pokemon Sword and Shield, baby. Looks like a beautiful game. Very excited to jump into this. Okay. What are your thoughts?
Actually, I want to hear you.
Okay.
The thing you're most excited for and the thing maybe you're disappointed by, if you had anything that was disappointing.
I would say I am most excited for that 4-player what they call
Raid
it.
Boss?
Yeah.
Or Dynamax? Or
I think it's Dynamax. I have some notes. I'll pull them up.
Okay.
I'm just so excited to get some people over who are like, hey, let's just keep grinding all these Dynamax battles. Dynamax sounds like a medication.
It does.
You know, like,
also kind of like a tampon.
Yeah. Like, can I have 3 Dynamax before I go to? I gotta get 3 Dynamax in me before I start my Pokemon Sleep game. Oh man. So I think those like gigantic max raid 4-player battles look like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I'm gonna be moving into a college dorm this year, and I just saw it as like, I cannot wait for someone to knock on my door at 11 o'clock at night. Like, we got to do this battle. I loved the concept of only letting one of your Pokemon. So you have your 4 Pokemon that all go in. Only letting one of those Pokemon become gigantic during the battle. I thought was a cool kind of strategy thing. One of my problems with Pokemon over the years has definitely been a lack of strategy and how easy it is to do a lot of things without much strategy.
Yeah.
You can use as much or not as much strategy as you'd like, which I liked as a kid. But now I'm ready for some challenges for sure.
Yeah.
something I was disappointed by.
Okay.
And I talked about this a little bit when they did that first small footage teaser, probably 3 or 4 months ago. I think most of the Pokemon designs just look like they're trying so hard. They look like repeats of past generation Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for Wooloo, the sheep Pokemon with braids. Very cool.
Jamaican sheep.
So freaking cool. That is my new favorite Pokemon for sure. Can't wait to see Wooloo and Detective Pikachu too. But for the most part, I think this is the worst batch of starters I've ever seen. I'm not looking forward to many of these designs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. For me, I've said this about Pokemon before, but I really only played the original Pokemons, and so it's much harder for me to get into the newer Pokemons because part of the appeal is just catching those old Pokemon that are so nostalgic for me now. That's what I loved about Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah.
Even though the game wasn't amazing,
Sure.
it's like, all these past Pokemon coming to life. This is awesome. And so that's definitely my disappointing thing as well, is just the new Pokemon designs. Like, I mean, I felt a little bit better about them getting to at least know their names and seeing a few of them.
And I feel the same.
But yeah, I'm not like super hyped about them. The only starter is was it Scrabble, or what's his name?
Sobel.
Sobel. That's the only one that I have any connection to.
Yeah.
Like the bunny, the monkey.
I like the monkey. That's what I'm going to choose, the monkey for sure.
It's also interesting to see how many Pokemon now are just based off of things in nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are they out of creative juices or
like ice cream cones? Vanillite. Oh, man.
I want to know how these people come up with Pokemon. It's just like random things that they see through the day. Oh, guitar case.
Oh.
What if we put a banjo-like Pokemon with strings down his back and
Banjite.
a warped
Banjite.
a warped face? And, yeah, Banjite. So yeah, I'm not necessarily like extremely disappointed. Like, man, this game's gonna suck. But just like, I'm not excited for the new Pokemon. Hopefully, I get more excited as I catch them. Okay.
And the most I would say, is that I'm disappointed by it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not at all something that I'm like angry about or think that it's the reason that Pokemon is failing. I still love the game. That was just the thing at the trailer where I was like, whatever. But there's so many new mechanics coming in that I think it makes up for the lack of interesting Pokemon. But Wooloo hype.
Yeah. I agree with you. I would say I'm most hyped for the Dynamax theater thing, raid boss battle, whatever it's called.
Right.
The fact that we can play multiplayer Pokemon now, that's pretty dang sweet.
Yep.
I just thought of something. The next mashup of video games, we definitely need a Pokemon Diablo type game. How epic would that be?
Yes.
You can control your Pokemon in an action ARPG
Oh,
style like Diablo.
I
That'd
thought
be
of that
so
a little
cool.
bit in the Dynamax battles. Also, remember to refer to your doctor before taking Dynamax. But I just thought in that 4-player mode, that just brought me back to some of the Diablo stuff that we've done. It's like, heck yeah.
I know, 4 players. Man.
Heck yeah.
So good.
So pumped.
The other thing I'm excited about, which might be controversial, is the lack of random encounters.
Mm-hmm.
I know people are like, oh, Pokemon Let's Go sucks. There's no random encounters. But I much preferred not having to have a freaking pop-up every 5 seconds. And even just playing Octopath Traveler a couple weeks ago, every 10 seconds, a freaking another random encounter. I'm like, I'm so done with this. I'm interested to see if there will still be, I guess when you go face the Pokemon that you want, there's still got to be a battle, right?
Oh, yeah. There's still a battle. It looked like.
Yeah, so at least they're bringing that part back because I do miss the opportunity to grind up levels if you need it, things like that. The other thing I would say I'm most excited for is the Dynamax in terms of what you said of strategy.
Yeah.
I think the cosmetic of it, the look of it kind of looks dumb to me.
Yeah, it's a little cheesy.
I'm like, this looks like Five Nights at Freddy's all of a sudden. When it's like this giant freaking Raichu and you're like, okay, this is a cute game. and now it's kind of trying to look spooky, but it just looks dumb instead. Like, and this is not a horror film. Like, what is going on here? But besides that, the added bonus of another strategy component to the game, as you said, it's been lacking in strategy. I know people do like let's find the shiny Pokemon with the best IV and whatever. Right. I never got into that because the game was easy enough. Like, you don't need that to beat the game.
Yeah.
So maybe that will add another component to the game, and I'm hoping it will be a little bit harder, especially after Let's Go being fairly easy. Maybe died once the entire time.
There's a lot of things to be looking forward to. I think that they're going in the right direction. I think this will bring in that last batch of people who were kind of considering the Switch but weren't sold on it. Mm-hmm. I definitely see the Switch once again being the hot ticket item of the holiday season.
Yep.
So,
well, speaking of something not Switch, our last big news piece, we'll have one small one after that.
Yeah.
But Google Stadia, they did release some of the details of what's going to be happening for their new video game streaming platform coming out at the end of the year for those who buy the Founder Pack. We found out it's not going to be available to everyone until 2020, where they add a free mode as well, it sounds like. But the Founder Pack, 130 smackaroos, man. That is a heck of a lot, it seems like. But you do get the Google Stadia controller, which alone is $70.
Right.
So right there, that's over half the Founder Pack.
Yep.
You get, Chromecast. Which I don't have, so that's kind of appealing. And then you also get 3 months of Stadia, which is going to be $10 a month. So that's $30 value and a Buddy Pass. So if you buy the Founder Pack, I think what it is, you can give, if you bought it, you could give the Buddy Pass to me, and I'd also have it for the 3 months to try it out. So, all of that really does equal up to $130 or more. It's just that's not what we were expecting. I was expecting we can all jump on board right away as this releases for something like $10 a month.
Right.
So, I don't know. What's your initial thoughts about the cost of that? Especially if this is something that you continue to do, $10 a month. Are you good with that? Is that too much?
I mean, think of it this way. 130 might sound like a lot compared, in the sense of we thought of this as game streaming, a simple, cheap thing. 130 does sound like a lot. But comparatively to a Nintendo Switch, an Xbox One, a PS4, a PC, this is the route to go if you are a semi-casual gamer. But that being said, in this casual gaming kind of market, are casual gamers going to be willing to pay that $10 a month for a long time? I definitely see myself easily paying that $10 a month. 130, even though it sounds like a lot, I'm definitely considering it. I don't know if the Ubisoft games are not things that I'm necessarily looking forward to, I would say.
Yeah, so let me read some of the games.
Okay, sure.
They've announced Baldur's Gate 3, Ghost Recon Breakout, and Guilt. Don't really know it.
Okay.
And then Get Packed, which is, I guess, kind of like an overcooked game. Okay. Division 2 from Ubisoft. More Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Doom Eternal, new Tomb Raider trilogy, Final Fantasy 15, Darksiders Genesis, Metro Exodus, and then it just says many others. So heavy on Ubisoft for sure.
And one thing too is if you're going to have some of that, like you just said, the overcooked kind of ripoff thing, are you going to have to spend $70 per controller to have 4 people playing it?
Yeah.
I guess that's...
It seems like this is going to be way more focused on single-player experiences.
For sure.
Which is not a bad thing, but I could definitely see myself having something like Stadia for just my single-player experience and then keeping the Switch around for let's go out and party or play it if I don't have internet access.
Right.
I agree $10 a month isn't bad. I mean, we're millennials. I guess you're kind of a Gen Z, but we're so used to paying $10 a month for Netflix, Spotify, Hulu, whatever. That's kind of right in that range. It's actually cheaper than some of the other services. So that's not appalling. The one little tiny thing though that they don't mention is that that's for a lot of their older games, not necessarily new games. So their new game could come out and we don't know how much
Right.
you have to pay for it. It could be you also have to buy it for $60 on top of the $10 a month. So that I kind of hesitate. I'm like, that kind of hurts, to have to pay $10 a month and then also drop $60 on those new games that are coming out.
If this was out though, and like say this was out when Final Fantasy 15 came out, you pay that $60. I mean, your $130 that you paid is that Chromecast, your 3 months, and your controller, which is already.
I'm not opposed to the Founder Pack. That's a good value for what their other prices are.
Yeah, and the Founder Pack is half the cost of an Xbox One.
Yeah.
And if I were to buy this and then have to pay the $60 for Final Fantasy 15, I'm still saving half that cost that I was for the Xbox One.
Yeah, and I think it's someone that has to be okay with playing older games. And if I wasn't doing this podcast, honestly, I could probably buy that Stadia Founder Pack, pay $10 a month, and never buy a new game and be okay with it.
Sure.
Like, there might be a few games here and there where, I'm like, oh, I'm bummed I don't have this. I'm gonna go out and spend the $60.
Yeah.
But in general, if you think about it, you pay $10 a month, $120 for the entire year. Over a year, probably just on the Switch, I'm probably, admittedly spending $200 to $300 on new games.
Right.
Which is a lot when I total up in my head. It sounds a lot worse. But people probably even spend more than that. They could spend $500, $600, $700 on new games.
Easily.
And if I didn't feel the need to play new games because of keeping up with it, like on the podcast and stuff, I would be fine playing a lot of these olden games.
Right.
You could play Assassin's Creed for such a long time. I'm sure you can play Tomb Raider and Final Fantasy 15 for such long times. There'd be so much content there, just maybe a year or two outdated, that you could just endlessly play, maybe along with some other free games, and you'd never have to pay for another game, just the $10 a month.
Yeah.
And that's pretty exciting. I don't know if that's going to be my go-to, but I could see it being, for a lot of people, that's the new way that they will want to game.
And like we've talked about, I'm very interested to see where this goes. I could definitely see this working out and being a huge thing. I could also, in the same way, see it being a flop.
Yeah.
And one thing that I thought of as well is if there's somebody who's only playing this as using this as their console, does it kind of create the same stigma that like mobile gaming has? Like, are people going to think as Stadia gamers as like not real gamers because they don't have PC?
I don't care.
It doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter. But I'm kind of wondering: is it going to be such a limited market that people are going to think that it's not even comparable to these other systems?
I think it's going to be the people that are all about what's new.
Right.
It's going to jump on it first, and they're going to have to take a while to convince other people that this is the way to go.
Yeah.
If it is the way to go.
Right.
The other one small detail we didn't talk about yet is that it takes a lot of data to stream. If you stream 65 hours at the 4K streaming, you don't have to stream at the 4K. It's just if you want to.
Right.
It's 1 terabyte of data. So if you have a data cap on your internet, which probably a lot of us do, Zach, you're saying you have 1 terabyte data cap.
Yep.
You could only play 65 hours and do nothing else online. Like that would be your data cap for the month, which is what, just over 15 hours a week of gaming.
Yeah, which is super realistic to be playing.
Yeah, you could easily hit that. I probably, I could see myself hitting 15 hours if that's probably like a good week of gaming for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Like, do you just play less? Obviously you can go down to HD, and I'm sure it's a lot less, but still, yeah, it's going to be something to think about for those of us with data caps.
And I also think that once more and more of this stuff starts showing up, internet companies are going to start having to branch out from data caps. Because I can definitely see Google Fiber, which is starting to slowly roll out in more and more places. Google doesn't have a data cap. And if they get out to more places, Comcast is going to have to compete with that and say, all right, no more data cap.
Hopefully, man.
But even then, like, if the moment Google Fiber comes here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% on board.
And let's be real, all of life is becoming streaming.
Yep.
It's going to increase in gaming. It's already increased in movies, music. I mean, it's just going to come to every pretty much part of our lives. So at some point, that's going to have to change. And I think Google is banking on that in the future. If that's them doing that or Comcast or whoever, 5-10 years down the road, I think internet will catch up with us.
Yep.
For those of us that live in cities and where that internet service is available.
And as stuff becomes easier and easier to find in higher qualities as well, it's going to,
So definitely going to be debates coming up in the future about that on Gaming on Trial. But let's move on for now and talk about your favorite news piece of probably the last decade.
Oh my goodness. I woke up at 6 a.m. to this news. This is the first thing on my phone. I cried.
No, you did not.
I got teary-eyed for sure. Like, holy crap. That's right, everybody. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, coming to Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, PC, a console near you, maybe even Google Stadia. We'll see. I am so excited. I am so ridiculously excited for this game.
Oh my gosh.
I am dying to see footage of it. Every morning I've been going on YouTube and searching to see if there's any footage that's came out. There's 4 screenshots, and they look just incredible. I cannot believe that this game exists. They cut out a Squidward boss battle, Squidward robot boss battle, in the original game, and they're bringing it in for this remaster.
Okay. So,
oh my goodness!
I just saw the article title. I didn't actually take the time to read it because I figured you'd know everything about it.
I do know everything.
So, for those of us who didn't play it originally,
yes,
just a couple sentences. What was the game like? What kind of game is it? And then this new update, or what are they updating? Is it anything? Is it just a pure shot-for-shot remake? And you just said there's a boss battle, but anything else besides that?
So it is a collectathon, kind of Banjo-Kazooie, Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter kind of game. So much fun. This is the game I have spent the most time on when I was a younger kid, and every couple years I pull it back out and I play it again. So the remaster is going to have a couple cut things and a new horde mode, multiplayer horde mode, where all of the enemies come at you once and you keep going through until you die. But this game kind of became a cult classic for sure. And when it came out back when I was a kid, no one I knew was really playing it. It was just me. But then in around 2014, this game gained more traction with the speedrun community.
Okay.
And the world record holder actually made a video talking about how excited he was for this and how he didn't even think that this was going to happen. He had no, there was rumors going around about it, and he's like, there's no way. Like, no one's interested in this except for this small community. But this teaser trailer that's 30 seconds, doesn't have any footage, already has over 1 million views. There is people who are clamoring for this game, and I think that there's enough people who didn't play it before that have seen kind of this speedrun community come back that are interested to jump into it. And I'm kind of wondering, are you excited at all for this?
I'm excited, but mostly because you've hyped it up so much that I want to try it.
Right.
Because I've never played it. I don't have any nostalgia for it. But I really do love SpongeBob. I do have nostalgia for SpongeBob in general. The one thing that I guess is hindering my excitement is, and it really shouldn't, but the one SpongeBob game I did play was on the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
And it wasn't Battle for Bikini Bottom. I don't remember what it was called. It was this 2D platformer.
Yeah.
And it was awful. So, for me not having played Bikini Bottom, I don't have a lot of confidence in the SpongeBob genre. Yeah. But hearing your glowing review of it makes me excited, and I'm sure it's going to be a good game.
Yes.
So
Be excited.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
I'm definitely going to try it for sure.
And I really don't think that there's a way that they could really screw this up, especially if it's keeping all the same mechanics that it had before. It's just a beautifully run game. Everything ran so smooth back on the PS2. It would be very hard to screw this remaster up.
Yeah.
THQ Nordic, thank you so much. I am so pleased. I am so excited. This is easily the most excited I've been for a game since, oh my gosh, I don't know. Maybe like
more excited than Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Easily.
More excited for the next Animal Crossing?
Yes.
More excited than Mario Maker 2?
Yes. No, this is definitely, I will be buying this day one. I will be outside GameStop at midnight getting my copy.
Oh my gosh.
Holy crap. I'm maybe even more excited to hear your thoughts.
Okay.
As someone who is not going to be playing through nostalgia goggles.
Yeah.
Of seeing if this game does live up to what I thought it did as a child.
All right. I'm excited. Do we have a release date yet? Or is it
no,
far future?
Probably early 2020 would be my guess.
Got a ways to wait.
Yes, but it'll be well worth it.
All right.
Yeah, baby.
Cool. I think that's going to be it for this week. Again, next week we'll be changing the name to Gaming on Trial, so don't freak out when your podcast feed for the 10 of you that listen, it changes.
Yep.
And we're excited to make that change. So if you have any things that you guys would want to hear about us debating, maybe you can throw out ideas to us as well. We still have a Twitter chat going as well. It's specifically about Switch, but maybe we'll broaden it out to just video gaming in general. So if you want to join it, hit us up on Twitter, Luke_WTP, and Zach with a K. _
WTP.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate your support, and we will have you guys listen to us next week.
I guess.
I was going to say see you next week, and it's like, no, just they're going to listen to us next week.
Might see you around.
All right. If you're going to PAX
West, I was just
we'll
about to say that.
And all the way in September.
You.
So we got our tickets. We're excited. So we'll talk more about that as an upcoming thing in a couple months. But until then, we won't see you, probably.
Probably not.
Adios.
Later.
Oh, baby.